Now, since we're wanting to make a profit out of this and we're not wanting to lose out too much, you need to consider the wear and tear on your car if you're doing this semi-regularly. So things like suspension, your tyres, your starter motor, that's a big one. So if you're doing these deliveries, you're going to say 60, 65, 70 different independent addresses. So you stop in your car every time and you're starting it again. So you're using the starter motor 60 odd times. Now, depending on how often you're doing this, obviously that is a lot of wear and tear on your starter motor. It's really not designed to be used in that way. And from experience, I can tell you with my previous car that I had, which was a Peugeot 206, when I was doing this, before I got this one, I actually did end up having to replace the starter motor because I went out one afternoon after having picked my son up from school. I still had some parcels to do, and I went out and I turned the key, and literally nothing happened. There wasn't even that clicking noise you get when your battery goes flat. Nothing happened whatsoever. There was like no power getting to the car at all. So it turned out I had popped my starter motor. So that was an expensive bill for me. It was over £400 to get that starter motor replaced. That was a real sting. So things like if you're doing it, the deliveries for Amazon Flex, and you're maybe only doing the occasional weekend or whatever, I wouldn't imagine that would be too much of an issue for you. But you've got to take into account as well that if you're going to, say, housing estates that are full of speed bumps, that's another one that will wreck your car in short order. You get your suspension will just be shot as well. So there's a housing estate that's up the road from me. I do 6 days, so I'm always up at that housing estate. It's about a mile and a half away. Every other street you go to in it has got several speed bumps along it. You can't really do any more than about 15 miles an hour. If you do any more than that, you couldn't even do 20, or the bump you get when you go over these is severe. And they're concrete bumps as well. And this housing estate's been there since 2008, I believe. And it's the proper concrete speed bumps, and they're all worn, and they're like sharp edges and all that on them. And you go over them at any speed, you're going to pop a tyre. The bumps, you're going to wreck your springs, your suspension. So that is something that you need to think about as well. If you're going to housing estates like that, and you really like it slows you down, it really does. But you like to say either that or you're going to destroy your car. But again, that's something that you need to think about if you're considering going down this route to try and make a bit of extra cash.